So I did a video a while back about the Gilmore Girls, and my fiance was all about the show, and so of course I watch it with her because she watches a bunch of horror movies with me, so why not? And you know what? I mean, it's okay. It's like a little unrealistically tongue in cheek, but it's a pleasant show. It has some genuinely like really funny moments, and a lot of the characters are pretty good. Last year, they released a four-part Gilmore Girls special on Netflix called Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life, and there were four episodes, each totaling about an hour and a half, and they chronicled each season of an entire year in the life of the Gilmore Girls. And this is, the first time the show's been around since I want to say, like, at least 10 years. Honestly, I wasn't keeping that careful track of it. But at any rate, we had a friend over who was also a fan, and we all watched it together. We marathoned all four of them. And if I'm being honest, I was very disappointed. The first hour and a half, the first season, if you will, I think it was it was winter. It was winter, spring, summer, and fall. That's how it went. Winter was good. It was almost honest to godly as though no time had gone by. It was still that same, kind of unrealistically tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. It was very, very Gilmore Girls. The writing was very Gilmore Girls. It was good. It was very familiar, and it was nice. It was like, wow, holy shit, they can really do this after 15 years or 10 years or however long it's been. It's been a long ass time. And then we got to the second part, and it started off okay. And there was this like really cool idea that they had where Lorelai was gonna start going to therapy with her mother. And when you think about that, that is such a great idea. It's like a great way to get a lot of laughs and to also like kind of invoke some emotion and hopefully some bonding between the mother and her wayward daughter. It was just a really fascinating setup that they didn't go anywhere with. Like, they just dropped it. Like, they just had her mom basically stop showing up for therapy, and then that was the end of that. And I was sort of like, it just seems like such a fucking waste, But at any rate, that wasn't the worst part of part two. The worst part was, it was like this fucking, I don't even remember what it was about, but it was like this fucking drama with Paris. And there was like a scene in the bathroom where it was just like, where it was Paris and Rory talking, and the writing and just everything was totally not Gilmore Girls. And again, I'm not even a long-time fan. I just recently picked up on this shit. It was just like so un-Gilmore Girls. It was like Mean Girls. It was like just like petty, whiny, fucking drama amongst these like 30-something-year-old women. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? And I mean, I remember at the time, like, each and every single one of us, we kind of like looked at each other and we're like, we all had the same kind of like, I don't like this expression. So part two absolutely sucked, but it's like, hey, you got two more parts to go. Who knows? Could have just been a weak part, maybe they just had to kind of stretch it out. They had some good ideas, but they had to kind of stretch it out. So let's give it a chance. The third part was a lot better. It actually, and it was one of my favorite scenes, obviously, of the entire thing. But they did a new Kirk film, and it was perfect. It was just great. It was really fucking funny, and it was great, and it was just very refreshing and very old school Gilmore Girls. There was an extended sequence though that was of a play going on, and it was just it really went on for way too long. It was like 20 to 30 minutes. It was almost sort of like, are you trying to like market this to Broadway or like what's going on? It just was like, it went on for way too long. At this point, it's like you got a good first part, you got a crappy second part, and you got a third part that is mostly good, but it has like a chunk of it that's just like, what the fuck is this? So it's like, okay, now it's really up to the final part. It's like, hopefully they'll cover everything and whatever, and Jared Padalecki had a cameo, and that was really cool, but the fourth part, in my opinion, was the honest to God worst out of all of them. It was fucking horrible. They tried to go into like all of this like fucking artsy shit that didn't make any sense. It didn't feel at all like fucking Gilmore Girls. It was fucking awful. And yeah, I mean, honest to godly, they had some like touching scenes where like, you know, memories of Rory's grandfather and stuff like that were really well done. But like overall, this fucking season, if that's what you call it, just like failed to deliver. It just really was not what it could have been, and it got something so spot on that makes it kind of like all the more disappointing. And something else I would like to bring up in this video, and please, like, message below and let me know your own personal thoughts, but is it just me, or is Rory kind of an unredeemable piece of shit? Like, I'm sorry. It's one thing to have a story about a character that makes mistakes, that does fucked up things, but sort of like learns from those mistakes, has some semblance of like remorse for those things, and then becomes something better. Rory is a spoiled fucking brat. She hurts people. She doesn't care who she hurts. And she's completely unrepentant about it. She is just a spoiled, bratty bitch. And she should be fucking called out for what she really is. And my question is, are we really supposed to see Rory like this? Or is it like, is she supposed to be like the hero character? She's supposed to be the person that like we're looking up to. It's like, I would really like to see a Gilmore Girls episode or special or whatever where somebody really calls Rory out on her fucking bullshit and says like, you know what? No, this fucking dude is married. Okay? You don't fucking fuck him. You know, when his fucking wife is sitting at home totally fucking clueless about it. It's like, stop being a fucking piece of shit. It was fucking one thing when you were a kid, but now you're a goddamn woman in your 30s. Knock that fucking shit off, man. I think they should just let it die. I guess that's my final opinion.